Hello everybody. So, happy Monday. This week we are continuing with modal singing. This video, instead of taking more examples from Rogers and Ottman, I've got a couple modal examples for you that are taken from other music. So one of them is from jazz, one of them is a different classical piece. Actually, two of them are jazz, and then one of them is actually something different, kind of like a pop, whatever you want to call it. You'll see in a second. So, in any case, we're continuing with modal singing. This entire video is just going to be singing. At the end of this, you will get your participation assignment, and pushing forward till Wednesday, we will be doing just dictation on Wednesday. So, here we go. So, let's go ahead and warm up before we begin. Just go ahead and do some scales to get us going here. We'll then also do some interval chains. We haven't done that in a while. And then we'll also do some review of modes before we get really started. So here we go. So let's go ahead and sing. Okay, 1, 2, major scale. Okay, let's go here. Okay. Let's do harmonic minor. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, finally let's do one more. Let's go down here. Okay, let's go ahead and do natural minor, or as we know now, Aeolian mode. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on and do some interval chains. So I'm giving you 4 interval chains here. 4 interval chains here. How we're going to do this is I'll give you the first pitch. Okay, I'll give you the first pitch, and then I'm going to give you some time, like, I don't know, 15, 30 seconds to try to figure out what it should sound like in your head. So go ahead and hum along or think about it in your head beforehand. And then we'll rejoin. I'll give you the first pitch again, and then we'll play all 4 notes together. Okay, so here we go. So this first one starts right here. Okay. So there's your first note. Go ahead and hum or sing your first note on La. Okay. Go ahead and take 15 seconds and take a look at this first one. Okay, the top one with the treble clef. Okay, here's that note again. Ready? So, first note, second note, third note, and fourth note. Okay. Okay, hopefully you got that. In any case, let's go ahead and do some more practice. Let's do another one. Okay, so here's your first note for the second one. Okay, remember to sing in whatever octave you can. Okay, go ahead and take 15 seconds or so. Take a look at that. Okay, let's take a look at that. Ready? Here's the first note again. Ready? So hum the first note, sing the first note. Okay, so first note, second note, third note, big leap. Yeah, we got a minor ninth, or pardon me, yeah, that would be a minor ninth there. Okay, so big leap, big leap. Okay, so here we go. Let's do another one. So we haven't really done anything with the C clefs in a while. This next one is an alto clef. Okay, so your first note is going to be right here. Okay, so go ahead and sing this first note. Okay, take 15 seconds or so. 15 seconds or so. Okay, here we go. There's our first note again. Okay, ready? Sing it. First note. Okay. Yeah, big old tritone at the end there. It starts off sounding kind of almost like Me, Re, Do in minor, but then we get something different at the top, okay? So, final one, let's do one more. So this is the final one. Here's your first note. Okay, go ahead and sing it. tenor clef example, okay? Go ahead and take another 15 seconds or so. Take a look at this chain here. Okay, let's try it out. Ready? First note. Second note. Third note. Fourth note. Yeah. There's a big leap there from the G to the F flats. It's a little bit deceiving, especially in tenor clef. So hopefully you caught that. In any case, yeah, that gets this kind of nice. It's kind of let's see here. It would be a minor major seventh type chord. So in any case, these are still not going away. These are still going to be useful for us, especially looking to material for next week. And we'll actually be doing dictation of these on Wednesday. So keep posted for that. Okay. In any case. Let's do some quick review. So I'm going to show both modal systems we talked about last Monday. So this is a week ago now. Remember that we have 7 possibilities for diatonic modes. We will basically not be using Ionian ever because it's just major, okay? But in any case, last week we focused primarily on modes 2 through 6, and I gave you 2 solfege systems. So here's the first solfege system, where we're keeping the Ionian, the major scale solfege in its place and just shifting things around. So we're just starting a major scale in a different spot, which is kind of how the modes are constructed anyway. So notice how Phrygian starts on Mi and Do is still on Si and so on. I also give you this system, if you prefer this system, which treats each scale as its own scale, and then you're adjusting the solfege based on whether it's closer to major or closer to minor. So notice how in Dorian it's like natural minor, but with La instead of Le. Okay, and so on. So we had both of these. Hopefully this is all old news at this point and you're super comfortable with it. In any case, let's just go ahead and cherry pick on whatever solfege you'd like. Let's go ahead and just do a little bit of modal singing warm-up, okay? So can we do Phrygian, please? Let's do Phrygian where it's as written here on E. Okay, I'm going to play it down here. Okay, so Phrygian on E. Let's go ahead and do half notes, okay? Just up to the top. We won't come back down again. So go ahead and sing your first note on whatever solfege you prefer. Ready? So 1, 2, half notes. Okay, so that was Phrygian. Let's go ahead and do mixolydian now. Let's do a major one. So let's go ahead and start where it's written on G here. So sing your first note. Okay, and whatever solfege that you prefer. Okay, ready? Just ascending, same thing on half notes. So 1, 2, half notes. Okay, yeah, so there's mixolydian, okay? Kind of like major, okay? Just with the lowered te at the top. Finally, let's sing one more. Let's sing Locrian. We didn't do any singing of Locrian last week or dictation because Locrian is so rare. I've rectified that for this week. So let's go ahead and sing Locrian. Here's your first pitch, okay? So sing this as if it were Do or as if it were Ti. Okay, ready? Okay? Half notes. 1, 2, half notes. Yeah, so it's like Phrygian, but with a lowered se in addition, okay? Or with a lowered, beg your pardon. Or it would be like Phrygian, but with kind of the fa in there as our fifth between our T and our fa, so we get that tritone, okay? That's what's so tricky about Locrian, why so many composers avoid it. Not every composer, though, okay? So let's go ahead and do our first example here. So this is just a bass line from a piece. There is a melody that kind of reinforces whatever mode this is in, but take a second and look at this. First of all, what note is a center pitch? What note would we call our kind of analogous tonic by looking at this? It starts on B flat, but it doesn't end on B flat. It ends on C, and C is rhythmically reinforced by being of longer duration than any other note in this kind of repeating rhythmic bass line. So, in addition, if it were C, take a look at what notes we would have, and treat that relative to what mode we would have to have here. So we see B flats, we see A flats, and we see G flats. So with all of that, if we come to the conclusion that C is our center pitch and we see G flats, that gives away that this is in fact a Locrian example. Okay, so this comes from the Bjork song "Army of Me." The verses have this repeating bass line, and the melody actually also reinforces Locrian mode. I don't quite know what genre would you call Bjork, but in any case, it's a really cool song. You should definitely check it out. But let's go ahead and try to sing this. Okay, so I'm going to give you your first pitch, not your center pitch. Okay, your first pitch. So here's B flat. I'm going to play it down there. Okay. That's where it's written. You can sing in whatever octave you prefer. So here's B flat, okay? Now, if we're treating C as do, this would be te, right? However, if we're treating, let's see, so C Locrian would be D flat major, D flat Ionian, and in that case, this would then be La, okay? So in either solfege system, okay, take a look at this. This is going to be the 16th note speed that we're going to go at first, okay? So take 15 seconds and take a look at this, given your first note, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and try this out, okay? Here's your 16th note pulse. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on, and repeats and repeats and repeats. A very short example of Locrian, but it's got that distinctive, that G flat in there is what makes this really Locrian. We've got our te, treating C as do for right now. We've got our te, and we've also got our le, way up there, right? And we've also got our se. The only thing that we're missing to really hammer home that this is Locrian is if we did have our ra, or our do, so to speak. And that actually happens in the melody. The melody is something like... So you get raw in the melody. It's not really in the bass line, but I just wanted to give you this little snippet. So Locrian does exist. It is exceedingly rare in comparison to the other modes, but it definitely happens. You can find other examples than this, but this one I liked because it's particularly clear-cut. So Locrian happens in fleeting moments relatively frequently where a composer will just have a measure of Locrian, for instance. But in this case, the entire verse of the song is built around this kind of repeating Locrian, okay? So that's our first example. Let's go ahead and move on to another one. Okay, so this one I've given to you in kind of a lead sheet format. Hint, hint, it's jazz-based. So we're going to sing this one in chunks because, as you notice, there's large rests in here. I've given you the lead sheet symbols. I've given you the chords, just kind of because that's what you do when you give a jazz piece out. However, you haven't been given a key signature. Okay, so C minor 7 doesn't really tell us what mode it's in. It just tells us what the harmony is underneath. So take a look at, assuming C is the root, take a look at the first 2/3 of this. Ignore the last staff for right now. Take a look at the first 2/3 of this and try to figure out what mode we're operating in, assuming C is your center pitch. Okay? So take a look at that. Take about 15 seconds or so. Okay, so let's assume that C is do for right now. If C is do, we start off on te. Okay, so we know that it's minor, so it wasn't going to be mixed leading or leading anyways. But starting off on te doesn't really help a ton because it could be Aeolian, it could be Phrygian, it could be Locrian, it could be any of those three, or Dorian. Sorry, I also forgot Dorian. So we start off on te. Not a ton of giveaway until that third measure. We have that kind of quadruplet there. Notice that A natural, okay? If we're thinking of this in terms of do up to something, A natural would be do at C, up to La, right? That would make it a major sixth. Now, La being a major sixth means that this is Re's, because if it were Aeolian or Phrygian or Locrian, it would be up to Le, right? It would be an A flat. That means that we've only got one option for this mode. This mode is in fact Dorian, okay? This is the Wayne Shorter composition Footprints. It's been recorded tons of times, okay? So let's go ahead and try singing this a bit. We're going to sing it line by line. The final line gets a bit kind of... well, it gets chromatic in the harmony. We have a little bit of melodic chromaticism as well. So the last line kind of strays a bit away to kind of give some tension before our return back to our kind of home area. But the first two lines are entirely Dorian, okay? So just the first four measures, okay? So here's C, okay? Here's a Dorian scale. Right? And we start on B flat, so we start on te. Okay, I'm going to play it up here. Okay, so go ahead and sing, you can sing either te, or if we're thinking this in terms of kind of movable do solfege, this would be do, actually. So it could be either, it could be either te or do. Okay, here we go. This is our quarter note. Take one final second to process how the counting for that third measure is going to go. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. Ready, go. Okay, so I think I rushed the quadruplet. Let's go ahead and try that again. Get ready? This time I'm going to go ahead and tap my legs so we get a little bit of a pulse here. Ready? Just 3 and we're in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, start on te, go up to do, and back down on do again. Okay? Or start on do, go up to re, and on re, okay, in either solfege system. So here we go. Let's do the second line. Now this next chunk of measures is actually interesting, and I'll explain a reason why in a second. So very similar melody, but instead of going down, we go up. Oh, pardon me. Okay, let's go ahead and try that out again. Okay, try that out. Same quarter note tempo. A lot of the notes are the same. Okay, ready? Let's try this out. 3 notes and we're in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what's interesting about this, and this is what's kind of interesting about modes in general, is that because the modes are so close to each other in terms of their pitch content, we just kind of swapped the order around, but the pitches remain the same. In this case, this allows us to very smoothly and easily actually imply F Dorian here, as well as we imply C Dorian. So notice how in these 4 measures that are underneath the F minor 7 chord, notice how we still have all the same notes that would make it C Dorian. We've got B flat and C and D and E flat and G and A. Notice the one note that's missing, which is A. Now, it would be A natural if it were C Dorian, but because it's F, if we were to, say, imply F Dorian would have an A flat. So Wayne Shorter omitted that, so we can have the same notes of C Dorian fitting over an F Dorian sound. Notice how if we were to treat this as an F passage, we've got F, G, omitted the A flat, B flat, C, D natural. Okay, so that's what's kind of interesting about this, is that we've kind of we've swapped from one to the other without really changing the pitch content. That's what's kind of interesting about this. So the last 4, this is just some kind of chromaticism. Okay, here's your note. Instead of coming in on B flat, we come in on B natural. Okay, so go ahead and hum B natural. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play along with you. Let's go ahead and try this out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, ready, go. Yeah, then we end on F, leaving this kind of unsuspended, right? So in any case, yeah, so jazz is ripe with modal music. In fact, there's a whole kind of little subgenre that came to be in the late 50s called modal jazz. So I mentioned it last week in one of the videos, but in any case, let's go ahead and move on. Let's do another one now. So this one's a little bit of a duet, okay? So we're gonna sing both parts, and I'll play the opposite part at some point. So here we go. First of all, what mode is this? So identify what you think center pitches are. Usually the beginning and the ending are pretty good indicators, okay? So do we start and end on the same note? No. What is nice is we do start and end on unisons, but we begin on A and we end on E. Now this is somewhat tricky because that could be like ending on like a dominant analog, what have you, okay? But take a look at this melodic shape in the top part, for instance. So we rise up, E is our highest note, and then we fall away and then eventually end on E at the bottom, okay? In addition, you've got a big old F natural on that third measure, the Ra, so to speak, to get us, or the Fa, to get us down, okay? So in this case, this is in fact Phrygian. This is Phrygian. So it's not some sort of A Aeolian, it's actually E Phrygian, okay? So this is from a wonderful Bruckner piece. Anton Bruckner, a late Romantic composer. He became fascinated with modes and Renaissance harmony, and would write motets, for instance. And this is from one such motet. This is just a small little fragment, but Bruckner was fascinated with the Phrygian mode especially, and most of this entire motet is written in the Phrygian mode. So that's kind of interesting if you want to go ahead and listen to it, or if any choir students want to go listen to this. It's a wonderful piece. So let's go ahead and just sing the top part, okay? However, I'm not going to help you with the piano the first time through, okay? So we're going to sing it through the first time without me, the second time with me. Then we'll do it a third time, and I'll play the bass part, and then we'll switch, and then I'll play the top part, and you'll play the bottom part. So we're going to sing this 4 times through total, okay? So here we go. So your first note is here, okay? So this could be either Fa, if you're treating E as Do, okay? Or this could be La, if you're treating E as Mi, okay? In any case, there is E, okay? Here's your first pitch. Ready? So this is our quarter note, okay? Let's try this tempo out. Ready? I'll give us 3 and we're in. 1, 2, 3. Go on. Okay, let's go ahead and try that again with me this time. Hopefully you ended with me, okay? Here's your first pitch again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I realize now that I'm accidentally playing that all an octave too low, but in any case, the pitches are all the same. Okay, great. Now let's do this in additional time. This time I'm going to play the bass line. So we start and end on the same pitch, okay? So okay, the bass is down here. So really try to keep in mind what you just sang, and I'm going to play the bass line that's going to have kind of it's generally got a contour shape to it, as you can see here. Ready? So I'm going to go ahead and count us in. 3 in, okay? There's your first note. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Excellent. So let's go ahead and try swapping parts now. So you've heard the bass part. You haven't sung the bass part yet, but you've heard the bass part. And hopefully at this point we're pretty comfortable kind of leaping and skipping around our different modes. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and play the top part, and I'd like you to sing the bottom part, okay? So there's your first note. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So hopefully you stuck with me. If not, feel free to go back through and practice this some more afterwards. In any case, yeah, Phrygian. Phrygian's so often used for kind of exoticist pandering, but in this case you've got kind of the Renaissance style of Phrygian. Now what's interesting about Bruckner and why I picked Bruckner instead of, it's not Brucker, it's Bruckner, sorry. Why I picked him instead of a Renaissance motet is that in the Renaissance, so often they would change certain pitches and not be as rigidly in the mode in order to fix things, and to our ears, these would look and sound a lot like a major or a minor scale. So Bruckner was actually more strict with the modes than some of his Renaissance counterparts. So in any case, let's go ahead and move on. We got one more example for you, okay? This one's also jazz. This one's a bit kind of goofy. It's a duet, so to speak, but I'm not going to have you sing the bottom part because as you can see, the bottom part is just kind of the same thing over and over again. So take a look at just the top part. Okay, this one is a little tricky. Okay, take a look at the top part, but take into account what the bottom part is doing. The top part's going to give you most of your clues, but the bottom part's going to give you something particularly crucial. So take about 15 seconds or so, just mull this over and take a peek at it. Okay, so our bass line, and again, you're not going to sing this, so I'll just go ahead and play it for you. We've got this kind of repetitive okay, so that already implies something, but if we look at our right hand, we've got this kind of ascending thing. Okay, so if you look just at the right hand, it looks almost Phrygian in a sense, because you've got that, if you're treating C as your center pitch. However, the key signature, which also could imply C, but the key signature coupled with the bass note shows that E flat is actually our center pitch here. So E flat would be our Do in one system, or figuring out what the mode is, if we take a look and treat E flat as the note, we've got D flats, we've got B flats, we've got Fs, okay, we've got Cs, okay. But in addition, if you look on later, we've eventually got a G up there, okay? So this is in fact Mixolydian, okay? This is Mixolydian. So that's what's tricky about this, because, it's another jazz piece, but that's what's interesting about jazz is that oftentimes the melodies will not accent or sometimes even contain the tonic pitch. So in this particular context, you're not given a ton of clues in just the right hand, but upon further investigation, it's super Mixolydian, because in the bass you've got that Te-Do, or it would be Fa Sol in the bass, with a major melody on top. Okay, so there's a little bit of chromaticism right at the very end. The penultimate measure's got a little bit of funky stuff, but everything else is strictly E flat Mixolydian. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this out. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and this might be kind of fun. I want you to sing the right hand. Okay, I'm going to give you your first pitch. Okay, we're going to go slow. We're going to go this tempo for the quarter note. Okay, I'm going to play the bass line. I'm going to play the bottom part. So you're going to be sight singing a duet with me, basically. Okay, so what's nice about this is that I don't necessarily need to count you in because the bass line does it for you. Okay, so here's your first note again. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2. Okay, so the very end there, let's go ahead and do just those last 3 measures, because if I suspect any issues, it's probably going to be there. Okay, so here's your first note again. Okay, this is the 3rd measure from the end. Ready? So, with me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you've got this kind of half-step descent downwards, and you've got a passing note at the top, right? Just a little bit of extra tension there, but other than that, everything else is strictly within the mode. So, yeah, this piece is quite a fun one, and the reason why I also picked this one in particular, it's got a pretty easy singable Mixolydian melody, but also this is the first third of a blues progression. Typically the blues, especially if it's a major blues, if it's in a major tonality, so to speak, blueses are in Mixolydian, okay? The famous blue notes, so to speak, to use a term I have mixed feelings about. In any case, that te is always seen as kind of a blue note, okay? Also, there's a missing part to this that I haven't given you, where we've got kind of, these are actually all harmonized in tritones to give it a little bit more of a bite to it. Because you get a natural tritone between G and D flats, which would be the 3rd and the 7th of B flat. Again, giving you this kind of dominant 7th chord, which is the foundation of the blues. So, in any case, brief little aside there. What I tried to give you this week is a bunch of examples of modes in context that isn't just from our book and isn't just Renaissance modes and some kind of simple 20th century modes. You know, they're everywhere. Mixolydian, as I mentioned, Mixolydian especially is in a lot of popular music because of the jazz and blues influence. You see Phrygian in a lot of kind of exoticist context because of that half step. You know, not even going to go there, but yeah, lots of examples. And again, even Locrian can be found if you look hard enough. So, next time, Wednesday, will be entirely melodic dictation. It will all be dictation of modes, okay? I believe I've got, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4, but it's 3 or 4 examples for you, so make sure you have your pencil and your paper ready then, especially. Your participation assignment, I'm going to assign it right now, and it will be due Wednesday, April 8th at 10 a.m. So, like last week, say the mode before you sing the excerpt. These are all in your book. I've only given you 3 this time because they're shorter. However, I have accidentally written the same one twice. Let me go ahead and fix that. Pardon me. 20.19. 20.19 is also assigned. So you will have 20.29, 20.26, and 20.19. I will fix that in the description. So if you forget, it is in the description for this video. So sorry about that. Mistyped there. So 20.19, 20.26, and 20.29. Okay? So that's your assignment. That's due Wednesday, and I will see you guys then. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to email me.